breaking news reports today. We have received an endorsement from the Santa Cruz Sentinel editorial board. Putting the state grants and other funds at risk is not acceptable. County staff has 2 years to work with the RTC to obtain more funding. It's an opportunity we can't ignore. We need to move forward. Yes. Yes. Also, yesterday, Roaring Camp released a letter saying that they are committed to moving the rail line in segment 10, which will save the county millions of dollars. They're a member of a strong public partnership of the county and our community to build a sustainable future for Santa Cruz County. We need to get there, and we need to get there now. Right. Yeah. We are here today to demand that Supervisors Koenig and McPherson change their vote and stop blocking forward progress on segments 10 and 11 of the Coastal Rail Trail. They must adopt the ultimate trail alternative as the preferred alternative for segments 10 and 11. They must direct county staff to enter the baseline agreement with the California Transportation Commission. Yes. They must request that the Regional Transportation Commission approve funding the shortfall from 2016 Measure D Active Transportation Maintenance Funds. This action will not compromise the funding for South County trail projects. It will not. It will allow us to move forward on this segment. Forward! I have a right. Finally, you don't have a right to interrupt me. I'm speaking, not you. I have a right. You don't have a right to speak at our rally. Okay, we're good, Jim. It is a rally. All right, so here's the story. We need to ask the Board of Supervisors, demand that they support RTC staff applying for additional granting funds for segments 10 and 11. Yeah! $68 million state active transportation grant that we have received, the largest active transportation grant in the history of the state of California, is at risk. It is at risk because Supervisors Koenig and McPherson have not taken these actions. Without the baseline agreement, the California Transportation Commission, the CTC, will not release the grant funds. Supervisor Koenig and McPherson's actions threaten county staff's ability to make the June meeting, which puts our grants at risk. The other important date is April 30th, where there will be another Board of Supervisors meeting to consider the county staff's recommendation. We will keep you updated on that meeting, but hold April 30th on your calendar. Thanks again for coming today and for your continued support. Together, we will move forward. Former Mayor of Santa Cruz.
First thing I want to say is, this is not an easy process. We're trying to reverse 100 years of stupidity around the car. It's 100 years, so it's not going to turn around like overnight. We have to work at this process. We've done a good job so far, but we have a lot more work to do. And so, when you think about turning around something that's gone wrong for 100 years, you think about all the things you have to the people that fight it, what you have to go against. And so there's a little bit of sarcasm here, but typically you think, well, the staff are going to oppose changes because they're stuck in their ways. They're used to doing. No, the staff of the County of Santa Cruz fought for this project. You should have been. You had to be there to see Rod Tidmore, the planner for the county, toe to toe with the supervisors, explain to them why they had to approve this project. There was no resistance from the staff, quite the reverse. They had a really good idea of where this thing needs to go. Oh, maybe it's the unions. They have jobs, they're used to doing stuff in a certain way. No, this is one of the strongest supporters for this project of the rail and the trail is the bus drivers union in Santa Cruz. Maybe it's funding. My God, we're going to try to reverse 100 years of stupidity. Where are you going to get the money to totally undo all the bad stuff that's happened and put something new in? We can't find funding. No, the state of California gave segments 10 and 11 the largest grant in the history of California for an active transportation project. The largest. It's not the funding that's happening. In fact, ironically, if you turn down, if they don't use the $67 million they got by 2026, we might lose that money. And even worse than that, really, on some level, it's not just the past money we'd lose. The reason the state of California funds this county, our bus system, and the other transportation projects at the level that they do, and the train and other stuff, is because they appreciate the multimodal approach we have here. They are on our side. They are not resisting the idea of turning around 100 years of stupidity. They're the ones that are pushing that we have a train system statewide. Yeah. So they're not the problem that's making this happen. Well, maybe it's the people, Sometimes, you got a great idea about what ought to happen, but, the average person just doesn't quite get it. You got to educate them. They're used to doing stuff in a certain way. And so that must be what's causing the problem here on some level. No, what about, you have a vote in 2022, Measure D, over 73% in all 5 supervisorial districts, in every goddamn demographic in the county. It doesn't matter if you're white or a person of color, doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter if you're older or younger, doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. They study this stuff, and every demographic at the same about roughly 3/4 of the county voted in favor of a rail and a trail. And so it's not. But then people are saying, well, that vote, it wasn't. It's not. You can't depend on that vote. What does that vote really mean? So maybe it was at a bad time. The people who are against the rail and the trail picked the time for that vote. They put it on a June ballot, thinking it was the best time for them to have it on the ballot. They got their asses kicked. Well, maybe it was a tricky ballot measure. It was badly worded. We didn't put that measure on the ballot. The people against the rail and the trail put that on the ballot. They came up with the wording, and it still had. They were opposed by 73% at the lowest levels, between 73 and 75% in every district in this county. Yes. Yeah. So what is the problem here? We're down to a couple of supervisors. Let me urge that you really take this seriously. You probably don't need me to tell you this. We need to be civil in our response to these folks because they're going to have to change their mind. They've got nowhere to go. That was pretty clear at the meeting. What are they going to do? Like, not support these 2 segments and start projects on 2 new segments somewhere? It's not going to happen. Right. They've got to approve these 2 segments. They risk losing the money they've already gotten and future money in a number of ways. They understand that. So as Matt Farrell was explaining to you, there's board meetings coming up They're going to have to find a way to reverse themselves on this. I'm going to do my best to try and find a way to make that easy for them. I don't want to like make them into, I don't want to Donald Trump this, make them into the, the enemy of the people and for whatever. We need to be persuasive, argue with them, the kind of stuff that I'm talking about and that Matt was talking about and that you've been talking about. We need to persuade these supervisors that this is the right thing to do and this is the time to do it. And I think they can be persuaded of that because I honestly don't see what their alternative is. They're just going to stop building the trail system, give it up, put it on the back burner, hope it comes back some other day in the future. That's not going to happen. So we need to show up in large numbers. We need to use logic and be persuasive. We need to show them that the people in this county that the Measure D vote in 2022 was not a fluke of some kind. It's what the people of this county want. And I think it's clear that that's the case. And I think they need to be persuaded of that and change their vote. And I think that's a real possibility, and we need to make that happen. It requires you showing up as you have here today, but also at the board meeting, sending the letters in and calls and all the other stuff that we've done before. The folks at Friends of Rail and Trail have been great about getting people out. It needs to keep happening, but I think we can turn this around. I'm not despondent about it. It was a stupid vote. It needs to be overturned. Thank you for showing up. I didn't organize this, so I don't know who's next.
Why don't you ask them how it's going to affect their legacy, how they want to be remembered moving forward. And in addition to that, to consider this not in terms of cost. Oh my goodness. Well, isn't it public land and public money already set for this? So how can they, excuse me, I'm kind of like forgetting my point, but that they look at it, all this cost, you're playing with house money, and it's an investment. Think of it as an investment moving forward. And all this o tempora o mores about the money is just, you know what it is. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes. It is the case that building the rail and the trail is going to have some negative impacts on the trees and the wildlife in the area. That's not a lie. That's accurate. So we need to make sure we set aside enough money to make this transition in a way that addresses that issue. So it's not just money for the rail and the trail, but it's also the environmental protection that has to happen to make this project be one that we can be proud of. But that's a possibility. That's not outside the realm of what we can do. We shouldn't kill this project because, it's going to take down some trees. 50 years from now, those trees will be mature. The replacement trees will be mature. If we don't do this project 50 years from now and we're still relying on the car, we're just dead. And that's not an alternative for us. So where's Matt? I'm going to give him back the megaphone here.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, let's have a big hand for Mike Rodkin. It really means a lot to me and to our community, and as Tina keeps reminding me, to our children and their children. Because the project we build today will shape the future they have tomorrow. So thank you.